Well, meanwhile, when we talk about fighting the pandemic, one lady in Glastonbury does seem to be having her own battle when it comes to COVID-19. Abused for wearing a mask in public. That's the claim by Tamara Spring, who is from Glastonbury. She's trying to raise awareness about the amount of fake health claims or facts about COVID-19 being made locally and on social media. Tamara is a volunteer with the Glastonbury Network group on Facebook, and says she's constantly having to deal with people posting anti-mask or anti-lockdown messages.
What we're finding is so somebody will post something up about COVID. It might be that the numbers in the area are going up, or just to talk about masks or something. And what these anti-COVID people are doing, they're actually commenting on the threads. So they're getting their posts into the threads of other posts.
Yeah, so then people, if they're reading the post, they'll read the comments that they make as well. Do you know if they are local people making these comments?
We know a lot of them, yes. We know a lot of people who are very outspoken about COVID and 5G and all the other anti-vaccine type things. I noticed a real surge of support when I came out and just said no more. You know, if you can't provide credible evidence to support your claim, then you're just going to be shut down and kicked out of the group.
Did you ever foresee something like this actually being an issue?
No. I guess, I live in Glastonbury. I've lived in Glastonbury for a while now. You get used to the theories that fly about, but they were always seen as very harmless and just a little bit fringe. People are getting quite angry. I mean, I was assaulted twice in town for wearing a face mask back in April.
Physically assaulted?
Verbally assaulted. And it made me feel uncomfortable. It made me not want to go to the shops. And then as lockdown eased and more people started wearing masks, it became safer to go out. But what's happening is the anti-COVID protesters are, I suppose they're pushing it forward a little bit more. So we regularly get at the top of town and down at the Market Cross, people handing out leaflets, just demonstrating anti-masks.
Has that ever made you feel like you don't want to live there?
Oh, yeah, totally.
You'll hear the interview in full after 8 o'clock this morning, so I hope you can stay tuned. If you're in the area, live around it, have experienced similar, have a story to share, do get in contact today. 81333, start your text message with the word Somerset. Tristan, researcher at the University of Bath, specialises in Facebook campaigning. Morning.
Morning there, hello.
Thanks for being with us. First of all, I mean, what do you make of what Tamara had to say there, what she's experienced on Facebook, being somebody that is admin of part of a group?
Well, I'm hoping that it's part of the visible iceberg, and I hope that the iceberg doesn't have too much underground, because what we're seeing on this Glastonbury Facebook page is probably playing out across the country, across the many thousands of other Facebook pages that communities have. And I'm hoping that because Glastonbury is known as somewhere with more alternative and left field ideas, that actually this is not so common in other places. But clearly, given everything that's going on, there's a big challenge we have in limiting the influence that people with very incorrect views around the pandemic have in being able to spread their ideas through Facebook.
How do you try and clamp down on that when you are a giant like Facebook and anybody can have an account?
Well, I understand that with the case of this lady in Glastonbury, is she spent a lot of her time basically banning, re-banning, editing and removing comments. So essentially she's having to moderate it. I think Facebook should step in and do more to provide tools and to help page administrators actually remove this dangerous content, this misinformation and disinformation.
Do you think this was always going to happen? Do you think it will always happen?
I think that there was a very excellent tweet I saw the other day, which is it social media that is driving us mad? Or is it actually that social media has just allowed us to see those mad people have finally become visible? And as you well know, Glastonbury's always had this community. And in the past, they would go and meet probably above a pub, and that would be that. And now social media has allowed them a tool essentially to campaign in a more effective manner. The whole end is nigh bored person who would walk along the streets yelling the end is nigh, that was a very ineffective way of reaching out to people. But now social media has allowed conspiracy theorists and those who mistrust government to kind of band together and communicate with each other, allowing some semblance of organization that wasn't there in the past.
Conspiracy theories have always been there, though. You can read them in books, you can see them on TV shows. Ultimately, it then becomes, does it not, up to the person reading to decide how much of it they accept and perhaps maybe further research? What is the ripple effect that it can have when it's on a platform like Facebook? How damaging can it be if, we as the reader have the responsibility to say, well, hang on a second, is that true?
So one of my worries with this is that after 9/11, we had a lot of conspiracy theories, but they were on websites. You had to go out and search for them. In a way, social media has hypercharged sort of conspiracy theories and mistrust, because not only do we have this growing mistrust in experts and in traditional media, but we also have social media giving a voice to, the crazier edges of what people believe. And as we move forwards, we're going to need to be taking a vaccine every year for the foreseeable future, maybe even decades. And if people don't keep up with continuing to take the vaccine, then it's not going to work. And so the problem is there that we have to make sure that people believe in something for a long time. So we have to put out this small fire now before it spreads, because social media is so effective at spreading information and allowing people to influence other people.